Hi everybody, welcome back. This is Kim. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. As you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about how the Doordash engineers diagnosed and fixed a recent major Doordash app outage. It was a system-wide outage, actually. So this is from an engineer's perspective. It's a little bit technical, but I'm going to try to convert it to plain English so most of us can understand. This is the link to the article if you want to read it. I'll put that in the video description so you don't have to write it down. Anyways, before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. That helps me out a lot. Anyways, let's get going. Oh, there we go. A little effect. Okay. So I've talked about a few other articles from the Doordash engineers blog website. I really find it interesting. It's probably just me, but I have a very technical background, so I look at things a little differently than the average person. So I enjoy reading about the back end thought process that the engineers put into the app and that sort of thing. Anyways, so I've talked about a few other articles. I said that. This is another article I found interesting enough to want to share with you. The title of the article is Our June 19th Outage Explained. They have had several outages recently, but I guess this one on June 19th really got their attention. So the outage, it was on June 19th, and it lasted 2 hours and 10 minutes. This was from 4:30 p.m. to 6:40 p.m. Pacific time. This was a 2-hour system-wide outage, so that means all parts of the system went down, which left undelivered meals at restaurants, Dashers with meals they could not deliver, or Dashers unable to even open the app, and many customers who were unable to order food or receive their food. So the cause. They say the cause was a cascading failure of multiple components in Doordash's platform, which put extreme load on our internal payment infrastructure, eventually causing it to fail. The incident triggered at 4:30 p.m., and they noted that the mitigation took significantly longer than their standard time. So they're admitting that it took them way longer to fix the problem than is normally acceptable to them. I don't know. I was not working this day, so I was not part of this outage, thank goodness, but I was working during another one that lasted close to an hour, it was terrible, because especially I had food in the car that I was, trying to deliver to the customers. It's really stressful for Dashers, well, for everybody involved, actually. So a 2-hour outage is major. Anyways, so they say reliability is their number one feature. I laugh when I read that because, that's a great goal to have. But in my opinion, they have definitely not met that goal. Their app is not reliable. There's more problems with that app than I can even... there's constantly things going on with the app. Like, it won't let you log in, makes you log in, it says you have the wrong password. There's so many things. Anyways, they admit that in this instance they failed. Customers refunded for any orders that were impacted. I hope that's true. Merchants were paid for any orders that were canceled during this period. I also hope that's true. Dashers were compensated for any orders that they had accepted but were unable to complete. Is this true? Any of you? Were you working that night? Did you get compensated for those orders? Anyone? I hope it's true. And they also said that any less than 5-star ratings that were submitted during the outage will be removed. But sometimes people rate much later. I don't know if they had a way of documenting whether the review was for a delivery made or supposedly made during that time, or attempted to be made. I don't know. Anyways, so here's what they say the impact of the outage was. From 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., well, 6:40 p.m. actually, Most Dashes were unable to accept new deliveries or log into the app, which significantly degraded DoorDash's delivery fulfillment capabilities. Duh. At 5:19, so this is quite a bit later, 50 minutes later, DoorDash took action to halt new orders from being placed by customers. So during this 50 minutes, customers were still able to order. Restaurants were still able to accept the orders and make the food, but the Dashers could not get to them. Upon finding and fixing the cause, they re-enabled full ordering capability between 6:30 to 6:39. So it didn't take them, it took them, an hour and 13 minutes to actually fix the problem, which, okay, whatever, that's fine. That's still a very long time, but what bothers me is this 50 minutes that they still took orders and these restaurants were still making these orders. And I wonder why there isn't a way they could do like an all-call type thing via text or whatever to Dashers saying that the site's down or the service is down. So many times you hear people say, oh my God, I thought it was my phone. I restarted, I did that. If the service is down, there should be some way to fail over to a different previous version. That's my first, I think, would be the best solution. Would just be revert back to a time when everything was working, but whatever. If you can't do that, which maybe they can't, I don't know, I think they need to notify everyone involved that the system is down, not just the Dashers, but the restaurant and the customers, so everyone knows what's going on. But I've never ever received any notification, so I don't think they do that, but that would be a good thing for them to do. Anyways, so root cause analysis. Here's the tech talk that I'm going to try to turn into English. So high latency was noticed starting about 4:30 p.m., taking a long time to fetch data required by the Dasher app. So latency is the delay between a user's action and a web application's response to that action. Often referred to in networking terms as the total round trip that it takes for data packet to travel. High latency means a long delay. So there was a long delay starting at 4:30. So that was what the first part was. Teams were diagnosing the high latency and the failures that they were getting. That started at 4:30. So the teams were already starting to try to figure it out. The retry attempts by Dashers having issues with the app compounded the already taxed payment infrastructure. So the high latency was in the payment infrastructure module. So then now, because this is already starting to fail, and there is just a lot of network traffic of this, retrying, and the Dashers keep trying to connect, and then anyways, the payment infrastructure was already having issues, and then because everyone was having issues with the app, they're retrying. There's so much more traffic on the network, so that's why things went down. The root cause. So here is what they say. The lack of defensive programming techniques such as load shedding and circuit breaking to protect the distributed systems from catastrophic failures. So that's a lot of mumbo jumbo, but I'm going to kind of tell you what that means. So distributed systems are a system with multiple components located on different machines that communicate and coordinate actions in order to appear as a single coherent system to the end user. So they work together even though they're not together as one system. So that's a distributed system. So then we have load shedding. I'm going to kind of explain what that is. It's the concept of, in web infrastructure, that's pretty simple. If a particular system and an application's delivery is overloaded, they shed some of the load so that the system can at least continue to provide service for some of the requests rather than failing and dying completely. And then circuit breaking, which is another thing they said that they were lacking. In case you don't want to know what a circuit breaker is and how it works, A circuit breaker is an electrical switch that operates automatically to protect an electrical circuit from damage done by an overload, like a lightning strike or a short circuit. Its main purpose is to stop current flow when a defect is identified and protect the electrical appliances in your house. So in programming, it's very similar. The programmers can implement a similar technique to protect the user experience with the app. So, payment infrastructure system lacked the load shedding, which would have protected it from collapsing due to the added volume due to the higher latencies, which are the delays. The Dasher app system lacked the implementation of circuit breaking, which could have been triggered to temporarily bypass the downstream dependency. So they determined that this was the cause of the outage. And did they fix it? Well, here's what they said they fixed. At 7:36 p.m., a load shedding mechanism was introduced, allowed the payment infrastructure to shed inbound request volume exceeding the thresholds. Circuit breaking mechanisms added to the Dasher infrastructure to allow it to bypass its dependency on the payment infrastructure in the event of service instability. So they basically created a circuit breaking mechanism so that if the payment infrastructure was having any issues, that the app could just bypass it and still work. So that's probably a good thing. And then they also said that they are doing a comprehensive audit of the payment infrastructure's interfaces to ensure documentation exists and that all is well understood and fully diagnosable if this happens again. Okay, great. Sounds good, right? Well, let's hope it works. So, will that be the last catastrophic outage? I don't think so, sadly. But it was interesting to hear how they handled it and how they looked at the outage. And I was really shocked at how long it took them to actually do something about it. And they were still taking orders. To me, that's just horrible customer service to allow, even though you know the system's down and you're still allowing orders to come in. But, oh well, you know what? I'm sure that there's a lot more to this than I am aware. And I just wanted to share what I read, and I thought it was really interesting. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it interesting, or if you learned something, that'd be great. And I will see you next time. Thanks again for watching.